Hi there, my name is Mark Langford and I'm a qualified accountant and also a coach that helps people deal with stress in the workplace. A little bit about me, I'm 53 years old and I've been an accountant for many years. I've worked in the corporate sector, mainly for the commercial arm of the BBC for 26 years. As you can see, I've got brown skin, so my background is a mixed race. Both my parents were Anglo-Indian and settled in the UK, met in the UK in the early 60s, 1961 to be precise. I was one of two children who, an older brother, I've got a younger brother, and that was the start of my journey of being stressed and anxious. The pressures that came with being an older sibling took its toll. You experience everything for the first time. Younger siblings tend to not have it easier, but they have an older sibling to lead the way. So I suffer from stress and anxiety, inherited to some degree from my mother, who was a very anxious person, still is actually. So I went through childhood, through dealing with a lot of pressure, didn't make friends easily, found it hard to make relationships with members of the opposite sex. I didn't have a girlfriend until I was a lot older than a lot of other people. And as a result, I dealt with a lot of stress, and it really battered me. It battered and bruised me, and at first I actually didn't know what was going on. I would have panic attacks and I wouldn't want to get up in the morning. It was horrible. So I actually dealt with it by several methods. I tried psychotherapy at first, which did nothing for me. Hypnotherapy helped to a certain degree, and I managed to build resilience. So don't get me wrong, I still have to deal with stress in the workplace. Being a qualified accountant, it's a very stressful job. There's lots of deadlines. I actually contract as an accountant as well, so in a way that adds more stress because you have to hit the ground running. You have to network quickly. You have to make friends at work very quickly. You've got to build networks, and there's a lot of pressure. It's a very competitive market, the contracting sector, and it's sink or swim. So you've got to have a lot of resilience to be able to deal with that. And so I took the decision after 26 years of working at the BBC to start contracting in 2013, and it's yes, I'm a decent dancer. Yes, that's right, David. I love dancing. That's one of my methods of actually dealing with stress. Is to exercise, as a lot of people do, but I get a real buzz out of dancing. I love music. It really gives me a high, actually. So proof of the pudding is that I decided to start contracting in 2013. And in order to do that, you've got to be very resilient, and you've got to be able to deal with stress. So I help people in the workplace deal with their stress, not just in, I'm just going to wave to David, not just with accountants, but I do predominantly help accountants, but just people in general who work in offices or don't work in offices. You know, it's not just restricted to people who work in the office workplace. I can teach people, and also for accountants dealing with stress, I know what it's like. I've bought the t-shirt and worn it, so I know how it feels when you think the world is crumbling down on top of you and you just can't think straight. So I love to inspire people. Last year in the summer, I made my public speaking debut in Birmingham, which is near where I live now. I'm originally from London, but I moved up to the Midlands about 10-15 years ago. And I spoke about my battle with dealing with stress and anxiety, and the very fact that I was able to speak in front of a room full of people I didn't know illustrated how far I had come as a person. And also my stress and anxiety did keep repeating itself. So even with relationships, I'd find partners of mine would take out their problems on me, and I would get stressed about it. I'm now in a relationship where I never get stressed and I'm in total control. And I think a lot of stress and anxiety is about controlling the controllables and being able to discard the things that you can't control. Because there are going to be things that you can't control in life, always. And you have to learn to, one, to be able to recognise that, and two, to being able to deal with it. And then you can look at the things that you can control and develop strategies on how to control those things. Particularly if you're going through a panic attack. So breathing techniques are really important when you're panicking about something. And when you're actually in the midst of an attack, it feels as though you're out of control. So it's really important to gain control. So I still sometimes have to deal with stress. I don't get anxious because I'm able to control the stress and the tension in the situation that I'm in and put it into perspective. Because at the end of the day, whatever it is, you can deal with it, and it's not the end of the world. For instance, if I've done something wrong at work, or we had an incident this week because I still practice as an accountant, where my numbers were 200,000 out from what we were predicting. Explained it to my boss, and he was absolutely fine. And it's about showing that you're in control. Something that I didn't realise when I was younger and I was looking to date women, I wouldn't get past first base because I was so anxious. It was very off-putting to members of the opposite sex. Women want to see men who are confident, who are in control of the situation, and it's very off-putting for a woman, even if she finds the guy attractive, for him to be a bag of nerves. And that really, really set me back in dating women when I was younger. I'm so much more in control of things that I don't have issues like that anymore, and I'm very happy in a relationship now anyway. But when I was single or my marriage ended, I was able to deal with that stress. And if I just tell you about what happened 2 years ago, so my marriage ended, and then sadly my father passed away about 6 months later in the summer of 2018. And then I came back from overseas where my dad lived, when he was buried, and to find out that I'd lost my job the very first day I was back in the office. So I had three things crumbling around me, and that could finish a lot of people off. It probably would have finished me off in the past, but I was able to build resilience to deal with those things. And they're very big momentous occasions: divorce, death, and then something which was threatening my financial security happening all at the same time. And it'd be very easy for me to think, God, what's going on there? How can I cope? But I was able to build resilience, and I have been able to build resilience. And what I'd like to do is to help other people build that resilience. I have two young children. They're only 12 and 8 years old, even though I'm almost 53, so I'm an older dad. And one thing I try to help my children deal with and build is resilience, because life's tough out there. Life's a bitch, pardon my French, David. And our children have got to be able to learn to deal with that. So I try to teach them practical things about life, but how to deal with their emotions. My 12-year-old is quite an emotional person at the minute because he's going through his puberty years. He's quite I wouldn't say angry, but he's quite a moody child at the minute. And I'm trying to build that resilience. Hello, Amanda. I would like to teach other people the importance of resilience, and just that they can be the best person they can be. If I can do it, anyone can do it. the whole thought of me speaking in public in the last summer, even 2 years ago, I would have dreaded to do that. And I've had other people say to me, I could never do that because all those eyes on me. And I say to them, what's the difference between you speaking to one person to speaking to two people? Everyone's got one pair of eyes. And if you can speak to two people, why can't you speak to 200 people? It's the same thing. You know, it's no different. And you just need to be able to express yourself and speak from the heart. If you're not genuine, people see straight through that. I'm a very genuine, open and honest, sometimes far too honest for my own good, sometimes I find to my cost, person. And you know, as long as you're honest and you speak from the heart, people will accept that, and they won't always agree with you, but at least they can accept your honesty. And I like dealing with honest and open people. I'm an open book, and I welcome the same from other people. So if you'd like to get in contact with me, my email address is mark@firstfinanceconsulting.com. And if you'd like me to help you deal with your stress and anxiety, please get in touch. The posts on here in this group have been amazing, so please continue posting, and we look forward to seeing more of your posts, and I'll speak to you all really soon. You take care and have a great evening.